Hello, hello. My name is Josh Mondragon, and I'm going to be your new blogger for TrendSpider. I'm very excited. Dan had came to me and asked me to start blogging, so I had agreed and I accepted, and now I'm going to basically share with you what I have learned from TrendSpider and what I know from trends. I strictly trade trends, and I've found TrendSpider on Facebook as a advertisement, and of course, you know, me trading trends, I definitely looked into it, and now it has changed my trading a lot. So I have always placed trades based off of the current trend, but what has been the issue was they were being subjective. Like, you always question yourself, is my trend a good trend, you know? So then you then place another trend and like, well, that looks good too. Well, maybe not. So what I like about TrendSpider is that it allows an algorithm to place the trends for you, right? So you no longer have to guess yourself. You know, you have an algorithm program to place your trends, and I love it. So no longer I have to be subjective of myself. You know, obviously you still have to put the trust in a program, but I am a firm believer on algorithms, and you know, a program can make a lot better decisions than myself, and that's enough said right there, right? So I'm just going to get in here. I'm going to call it the Why Trade Trends and Why Trade TrendSpider, right? But before I do that, let me introduce myself. So my name is Josh Mondragon. I have been trading now for almost 4 to 5 years. I'd say it's pushing 5 years. Been trading in the foreign exchange market for 2 years, and have been trading strictly trends for about a year. So obviously when you first start trading, you try to think of, okay, what do I need to learn to be a successful trader? You know, what works for me, right? So obviously what works for me is trends, and why I say that is because trends have been around since the beginning of the trading market. So there probably, if you think about it, wasn't a lot of fundamental news back then, and they had to go based off of trend. And if you look at Bitcoin right now, it's based off a lot of trends. So if you trade Bitcoin, TrendSpider would work perfect for you because it's based off trend right now. There's really not a lot of news or fundamental news that can push the price in a certain direction, right? So it's based off of just trend. So yeah, that's a little bit about myself and a little bit of why I trade trend. Okay, so when we look at TrendSpider, right, we have all the trends placed for us automatically on 4 different charts. Okay, so you have your first time frame, which gives you what you're looking at. So that's basically like the bars of the 5 minutes. So every one of your bars are 5 minutes in this chart here. And then over here, every bar is an hour. And down here, every bar is 4 hours. And over here, every bar is the daily. That alone, let me tell you, being able to see 4 different charts on, let's say, 8 different time frames, right? Because we can put 2 different time frames in each chart, is a game changer, right? You can look at everything simultaneously all at once, and bam, there it is. And all you got to do is click another pair, and it just bam, there it is again. So no longer having to go to a pair, draw your trend lines for each pair, figuring out what's right, what's wrong. Then you got to be subjective about your trends, right? You got to be like, well, it's not the right trend. Am I looking at the right trend? Now you can just rely on an algorithm, and that is beautiful. Okay. So now say, like, if I go over here, right? So this here is TradingView. Okay. Obviously, looking at this chart, what do you see? We are in a very bearish market. We are going down, right? Okay. Now you start drawing trends, right? So you come up here. Let's just start at this trend here and draw it down, right? Okay, that looks good. You come over here, start it up at the top again, and draw at the top of that wick there, and come down. Okay? You see where I'm getting, right? You don't really know, right? You just basically have to guess. I mean, you know what a trend looks like. You know how it's supposed to flow, and then once it breaks out, you get a big juice of momentum in the other direction. But this takes time, you know, and then you have to obviously you be subjective about it. You know, is it the right trend? And you really don't know. And that's what has always been a thing for me since I've been trading with trend. Like, you always gotta second guess yourself. Now, there's some times where trends just pop out and they're perfect, right? But then there's some times where you just gotta like, I don't know. So when you look at this, obviously you're in a bearish market. Okay, you come back over here. TrendSpider. Wherever, there it is. Okay, go to €USD. Okay, it's going to plot all the trends for us real quick. Okay, so now on our hour time frame, you can see that it's showing us a nice bearish trend channel, and it needs, right, to break out of this bearish trend to continue bullish. So if I come over here, you can obviously wait for it, right? You can wait for it to break out of the trend that you have made. But then again, you don't really have a fine line of a trend. So you can see here, you know, we're in no man's land, I'm going to call it, on the 4 hour. We're in a no man's land on the daily. We are on a about 0.5 fib retracement here. So with that all being said, we can expect a bullish coming soon, right? So then how do you know? How do you know when that's coming? Okay, so I personally trade wedges. So you know that you're in the middle of a trend here on the hour. You're in no man's land on the 4, no man's land on the daily. So when do I enter? You can either A, wait till it breaks either the top or the bottom of these trends, or you come down to a smaller time frame. Okay, I'm on a 5-minute right now, and you have a wedge. Okay, what do you normally get after wedges is a good breakout of momentum, and that's kind of what we're seeing right here. Okay, we broke out of this wedge, and now we're getting momentum. So after a breakout, then you come up here and then you test. Let's say it's going to come up here and test the 1.18, which is right here on our hourly, right? So we can cross two time frames on one chart, and that's, like I said, amazing. So you come up here, 1.18. So we can expect some resistance there. So right now, you can expect a breakout bullish, and then hit some resistance up at the hour. So instead of having to wait until you got to 1.18 to see what the market's going to do, you can go on a smaller time frame and try to find wedges. So here's going to show you a 10-minute. Okay, so we really don't got much wedges going on in the 10-minute. We're pretty much right in the middle of the hour. It shows a support down here and a resistance line up here. Okay, on our 15-minute, had a wedge back there. Still a little crazy. Doesn't know where it's going to go. So on our 5-minute is really giving us an indication of a good wedge that's breaking out. And it's still breaking out fairly nice. This is like a perfect opportunity for me to show this, especially that I'm recording it. So yeah, I trade breakout of wedges. And that's all I trade. Obviously, when you have a breakout on a bigger time frame, so here on the daily, you had a wedge forming here, and then it broke out back here at 1.21, and now it's way down here. So just always look for wedges, personally, and that those will be the best to you. You know, it gives you an indication of where the market's going. You know, just trading the breakouts. Now, what if it broke out bearish and not bullish? Well, the reason I had the assumption that it was going to break out bullish is because you're oversold on the 4-hour and you're oversold on the daily, right? So with those two things combined, and we get a wedge forming on a smaller time frame, then we can expect it to break out in the other direction. Okay. I don't want to give out too much information because I got to continue blogging, but I think I'm going to wrap it up right there. So that is why I trade trends, and that is why I use now TrendSpider. It has made my life easier. It has made my trading better, and with those two things combined, you can be a profitable foreign exchange market trader. Thanks for watching. My name is Josh Mondragon, and can't wait to continue blogging for Dan, and appreciate it much, Dan. Thanks.